Bahrain.
That's right, Pasha Kharkhachaev. He makes heavyweights look small, which is quite the impressive feat.
What is impressive about him is that dude can do a backflip.
That is insane.
And legit, he can do it. We've seen him do splits. He can do backflips. I mean, he throws head kicks, and he's a legit probably 160, 180 kilograms.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he recently lost about 20 kilograms. He now walks around at circa 155 kilos only. So yeah, it's about 300 pounds.
And the thing that shocks you about him, again, is how flexible he is.
Yeah.
You know, he throws those head kicks. He has incredible power. He has the ability to do everything of someone half his weight and half his size. But added to that weight, when he hits you, you're going to stay hit. And I think his record at the IMMAFs and his record for the Kingdom of Bahrain shows just how devastating his size and flexibility and power generation actually is.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, he is just a beast of a man. He will face off against the RMMAU's Shamsutdin Makhmudov. And we saw Pasha Kharkhachaev compete here at Cage 3 yesterday, where he went for distance with Murad Jamaldinov.
And he's also a defending two-time IMMAF champion. So should he win, he'll be a three-time champion as well. Imagine 2 3-time champions in the same world championships.
That certainly would be an IMMAF World Championships for the ages. Here we have the defending champ entering the cage in gold, befitting of a champion. His opponent from the RMMAU, Shamsutdin Makhmudov, getting prepped for the cage here.
I don't see this one going the distance, to be honest. I think this one's going to finish early. Because these are big guys. If they hit, there's a lot of weight behind those punches, man. So I don't see us going 3 rounds in this.
Well, surprisingly enough, Pasha Kharkhachaev's last bout did, and while he definitely won it and did so in dominant fashion, his opponent, Murad Jamaldinov, he came to fight. He wasn't here just to be a statistic on Kharkhachaev's record. And like I said, Kharkhachaev, he won the fight clearly, but he did mortal. He did eat a couple heavy shots. He took them like a champ, but let's see if Shamsutdin Makhmudov perhaps saw that.
Very measured start again, trying to suss their opponent out, trying to see where those openings are, where they can take advantage of their opponents. You can see Pasha very measured. He's not absolutely flying into anything, but there he goes for the takedown. You can see there the control against his opponent against the cage. Gets the underhooks, and this is the position where he can control his opponent. Good takedown defense.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good considering how deep those underhooks were. Makhmudov gets an underhook. Smiles a bit as well. Are they talking to each other?
Looks like they're having fun. 2 very big boys in the cage.
And I think people are expecting something violent because people are standing around the cage holding up their phones, filming.
Makhmudov definitely holding his own here. He's got Pasha up against the cage, controlling him a little bit as well. Trying to get that takedown, get the leg out. And the big thing here is for both of them is it's a lot of weight to move. You can't just pick them up and throw them around. You're going to have to get a trip. You're going to have to get them off balance to try and force the weight over so that you can get them onto the ground.
It's a couple strikes that are kind of landed to the back of the head there from Pasha Kharkhachaev. Oh, the cage actually prevented the trip from Pasha Kharkhachaev.
Yeah, the momentum was going. He tried to flip the leg over and then went into the pad to stop it.
And in this position, this is almost where sort of being the shorter fighter could be advantageous.
There you can see again Pasha going for the trip, but the arm slipped out. It's a lot of weight to lift up, which is the problem. So there has to be momentum. You have to, push someone so they go off balance, so their own weight and momentum pushes them over. 10-second clapper.
Oh, wow.
Good finish to the round there.
And I think you got to give that first round to Shamsutdin Makhmudov, the underdog here.
I think the trip at the end is what could sway the judges a little bit at the end of the first round.
Because, I mean, that was probably the most significant moment of that first round.
Both attempted takedowns, both tried to control their opponent up against the cage. And that was the one time where one of them landed up on the ground. So could that sway the judges at the end of the round to go, that's the guy, he got more of a dominant position by the time it was over?
There's definitely a tension in the arena. All eyes are on cage 3.
And also different styles by the two athletes, which I've asked athletes this as well, prefer to sit down or stand up in between rounds. Some guys don't like to sit down because they think the blood build up in the legs to then stand back up again, so the legs get heavier. Other guys prefer to sit down, take the load off, catch their breath, and then get back into the fight, which is, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think it's just a preference thing.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be mind games too. Sometimes not sitting down just to show your opponent, oh, you're tired?
Oh, there we go. The punches are flying.
Oh!
Oh, Pasha throws a big uppercut there, but doesn't land. You can see he's throwing those little short punches as his opponent has him up against the cage. And again, it's not going to do any massive damage, but it can just throw your attention off for that split second.
So far, a good start here for the underdog, RMMAU's Shamsutdin Makhmudov.
Kharkhachaev's just looking for his opportunity there to move him away.
Perhaps waiting to explode so he can get a trip.
Could also be the the very tough fight yesterday is making it difficult to really just get going in the fight today.
I mean, he won 3 rounds.
And people think, oh, you've had 24 hours to recover, but it doesn't work that way. The fights take a lot out of you. It can take, up to a week to recover from it because of just the amount of effort, energy, and exertion you're putting your body through in that short amount of time. It takes a couple of days to come back again.
Taking a close look at this, I think he might separate them.
Makhmudov's definitely controlling it, controlling his opponent against the cage. You can see Pasha there just shaking his head, saying everything's good. Talking to the referee as well.
He's probably hoping for a separation here. Referee warns for activity.
Because he is tying his opponent up. You can see he's grabbing the arms to make sure he can't really do much. Attempted takedown again.
Right in front of our broadcast position here. I gotta admit, it's a little intimidating having 2 super heavyweights this close from you. Or close to you, rather.
This is the time where you hope the engineers did their job right.
Yeah.
You can see there more of the same. It's just controlling Kharkhachaev up against the cage, landing a couple of shots. Got the underhooks. No damage though. They're not doing much damage to the opponent. It's just all about control and showing the judges that you've got, the cage control and the dominance of the fight just by position.
Okay.
Attempts that takedown right at the end again, probably just to try and sway the judges, same as in the first.
I gotta say, well, I'm pretty. Are we seeing the reigning two-time champion, down 2 rounds here.
I think if you look at control, cage control and kind of dominance and looking for something, I think he is definitely ahead. I think Pasha definitely needs to do something here. He needs to push the action in the 3rd round, needs to go for that finish and show the dominance that we know he can.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. He's proven it time and time again why he has such a heralded status.
And the crowd building even more around the cage now. I think they know something has to happen. So,
yeah.
Are we going to see a knockout in the 3rd round? Are we going to see something spectacular?
I mean, any way you go, we're going to see something worth talking about. Either we'll see a huge upset or we'll see a brutal finish. So
you can see Kharkhachaev's already in the middle of the cage here. He wants to get this thing going.
Oh yeah.
Referee has to push him back.
Takedown
Going for the takedown. He's got the single leg.
It's a good start here for Kharkhachaev.
He's got the control against the cage, but he's going to have to try and get separation to get the finish. Either separation or get the takedown.
Yeah.
Really working for that takedown now. He drop down to try and get it. But good takedown defense by Makhmudov.
And look, he gets a double underhooks, turns the tables on the reigning 2-time champ.
And this is where he doesn't want to be. This is where he's ground out the first 2 rounds. He needs to move to try and get himself in a position where he can finish the fight.
The thing is, you can't just hope that the referee will separate for inactivity, because then you're releasing all your own responsibility in the fight. So it's also up to you to try and improve your position, or really do everything you can to neutralize your opponent's offense.
And you can just see there how relaxed Pasha is, smiling at someone in the crowd. He's in the fight. He's not under an immense amount of pressure in the fight itself at the moment, but he is under pressure to try and get the finish.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The referee separates them. He's going to have to go for the finish now.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of time left to work.
Straight back into the cage again. Makhmudov doing exactly what he needs to do to grind it out and get the win here. He's not the one that has to push the action.
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier in one of the fights, I mean, the onus is on Kharkhachaev to get out of this, and he does. Wonder if he'll regret going for a takedown there, because now we see up against the cage. But I mean, I'd say Kharkhachaev needs a finish here.
I agree. I think he needs to, try and separate, try and get the KO.
Yeah, it might be a good idea just to kind of try and push away and swing haymakers.
And there's the 10-second bell. You can see before the horn there, Pasha just giving him the tap and saying, okay, brother, it's done now.
Wow.
Great respect shown by the 2 athletes. And I think again, did the fight yesterday take it out of him? Could he just not get going again because of, being pushed yesterday to 3 rounds and just, not necessarily gas tank, but just damage, cumulative damage that you can't see to the legs, to the ribs, to, all of these things. People go, oh, he looks fine, he passed the medical, but you don't know what that cumulative damage does. Can you just kick on and get going again, or does it last for 2 or 3 days where you just can't?
Yeah, absolutely. Did he twist his ankle? Did he,
And that's the problem with tournaments that happen over multiple days.
All right, with the official decision, we'll hand over to our announcer, Mr. DNM. there you have it. Shamsutdin Makhmudov of the RMMAU with the upset over the two-time champ, Pasha Kharkhachaev. Makhmudov advances to the finals, gets a shot at the gold.